Hello, everyone. I'm gonna start something new for 2026. I thought I would record a video reading the New Testament, posting a video of a chapter every day. Um, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be starting with Matthew 1, and I'm reading from the ESV Bible, specifically the MacArthur Study Bible. If you don't have MacArthur Study Bible, I highly recommend. It's very informative, a lot of very good information. I actually heard about the MacArthur Study Bible the first time listening to Charlie Kirk, and it was actually when he was still alive, actually probably like a week before he passed, that I actually ordered this one because I heard him talking about it. So we're going to get started with Matthew 1, and I was even debating at first even if I wanted to start at Matthew 1 and just skip straight to verse 18 where the birth of Jesus is. But if most of you don't probably read the Old Testament, probably like me try to stick into the New Testament. I try to wonder, why these names, this lineage is so important. But if you do know the Old Testament, you know these names are built on a specific unconditional promise that God gave to King David. And basically, Matthew starts the gospel here to prove legally and historically that Jesus is the rightful king. So, it might be, a whole bunch of names that mostly I'm probably not going to pronounce right anyways. But, there is an importance of everything that is in this Bible, including this long list of names. So we're gonna give it a shot here. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, and Isaac the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Judah, and his brothers in Judah the father of Perez, and Zerah by Tamar, and Perez the father of Hezron, and Hezron the father of Ram, and Ram the father of Amminadab, and Amminadab the father of Nahshon, and Nahshon the father of Solomon, and Solomon the father of Boaz by Rahab, and Boaz the father of Obed by Ruth, and Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of David the king. And David was the father of Solomon by the wife of Uriah, Solomon the father of Rehoboam, and Rehoboam the father of Abijah, and Abijah the father of Asaph, and Asaph the father of Jehoshaphat, and Jehoshaphat the father of Joram, Joram the father of Uzziah, and Uzziah the father of Jotham, and Jotham the father of Ahiz, and Ahiz the father of Hezekiah, and Hezekiah the father of Manasseh, and Manasseh the father of Amos, and Amos the father of Josiah, and Josiah the father of Jeconiah, by his brothers at the time of his deportation to Babylon. Now I'll pause there for 1 second. When I was talking about, some of the names, you might recognize the name Jeconiah from the Old Testament if you did read the Old Testament. Jeconiah was a king who God put a curse on. God said that none of his biological offspring would ever sit on the throne of David again, which just creates a massive problem. So if Jesus is the biological son of Joseph, he would be disqualified from being the king. But under Jewish law, an adopted son has the full legal standing by his father. By being Joseph's adopted son, Jesus gets the legal right to the throne, but because he was born a virgin, he bypasses the biological curse. So that name is, important if you go back into the Old Testament and, read the story behind that. And to continue on from verse 12. And after a deportation to Babylon, Jeconiah was the father of Shealtiel, and Shealtiel the father of Zerubbabel, and Zerubbabel the father of Abiud, and Abid the father of Eliakim, and Eliakim the father of Azor, and Azor the father of Zadok, and Zadok the father of Achim, and Achim the father of Yelid, and Yelid the father of Eleazar, and Eleazar the father of Mathan, and Mathan the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, to whom Jesus was born, who is called Christ. So all these generations from Abraham to David were 14 generations, and from David to deportation to Babylon, 14 generations, from the deportation to Babylon to Christ's 14 generations. So now we're going to get into the birth of Jesus Christ. Now the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit. And her husband Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. But as considered these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary as your wife. For which is conceived in her from the Holy Spirit, she will bear a son, and you shall call him Jesus. For he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord has spoken by the prophet. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph woke from his sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. He took his wife, but knew her not until she had given birth to a son, and he called him Jesus. So in this section here, there are two names that change everything. First, Jesus is the Greek form of the Hebrew name Yeshua, which means Lord is salvation. It doesn't mean he brings salvation. It means he is salvation. Second, Emmanuel, which means God with us. This isn't just a title. It is a declaration of his deity. The God is literally among us. So when we often overlook Joseph, but he was remarkably a righteous man. Even when he felt hurt and betrayed by what he thought was Mary's unfaithfulness, he chose to protect her rather than shame her. As soon as the angel explained the truth, Joseph didn't stay in a pity party. He responded with an immediate obedience. The story of Mary and Joseph teaches us that God's calling can be demanded and even dangerous. Difficult circumstances don't mean you've missed God's will. They are often the exact path he appointed you to. If you're on a hard path today, stay put and trust him, because he has promised never to leave you. So in the next video, we'll continue on with chapter 2. Thank you, and God bless.